We're back. All right. You know, we try to bring you things in good taste occasionally on the show. Tonight we thought we would bring you something in good smell. Works for the Food and Drug Administration in Brooklyn. His official title is Chemist, Analytical Organoleptic Specialist, Seafood. Now, this is true. This is not a put-on or anything like that. Well, his job is to smell fish for the government and say whether it's fit to eat or not. This is not a joke. This is not an actor. This is a gentleman who has this job. We thought it would be fascinating. Would you?
I'm feeling fine.
Yeah, usually when I would introduce somebody like that, I'm sure the audience would think we're going to come out with a professional actor and make believe it's not a... But this is a real job you have, isn't it?
It's a real job.
Did I pronounce that right?
That's right.
Analytical Organoleptic...
That's right.
Specialist seafood.
That's right. All it means is using your senses to do your analytical work.
Yeah. How did you get into this job?
And one day when I was there just a short time, the regular fish smellers were out, and I was pressed into service.
The head smeller was out of business.
Well, he was out of town.
I was out of town.
So I was pressed into it, and I'll never forget it because it was a real stinking sample. Nope. Get home, walk in the house, my wife says, "My God, what were you doing? You stink. Take off your clothes and take a shower." That was my first experience smelling.
I never thought about that. Would be a hazard, wouldn't it? If you've been around fish all day. What do you do? You change now before you go home? I mean,
well, I either change or I generally get home now before my wife so I can get the stink clothes off.
Yeah. Does this require a certain trained nose? I mean, can anybody learn to do this? Or if anybody wanted to learn to do this?
Anybody with a good sense of smell can do the work, and all they have to do is to be trained to interpret what they smell. Because there's plenty of stinks, but it has nothing to do with decomposition.
You have a very involved technical vocabulary in this. That's still the best word. To say something is odoriferous is ridiculous, isn't it? If something stinks, it stinks.
Well, that's what I say.
Yeah.
I say I smell, but the fish stinks.
That's right. Right now we're talking with Albert Weber, who is, I guess, fish smeller, to make a short title for the city of Brooklyn, right?
That's good.
Now, let me ask you this. Are there any side effects to this job? I mean, does it dull your senses after a while?
Oh, well, sure. You can't be smelling all day without what I call a nose break. And
without a nose break?
Yes. You just stop smelling whatever you're smelling and get out of the room and either do something else or just go out and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
You can keep a fish just slightly iced for 2 weeks before it starts decompose, but then it goes very fast.
Now, we have a couple of samples here, and I don't exactly know what they are.
Well, no,
we have two samples of shrimp here.
Here, this don't have to worry about this one.
Oh.
This is good, fresh shrimp.
I would have guessed.
It's class 1.
I would have guessed that this was going bad.
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Because it's a different color.
You can't go by color. You have to go by odor. And all you have to do to see if it's good or bad, just break into the flesh, give it a little short sniff, right. and that's a good shrimp, and that's a good odor. If I eat shrimp, I would eat those. Now this is class 3.
Class 3.
You see the change in the color. These
You wouldn't even have to come out from Brooklyn to say that was... You could smell that in Brooklyn. Whoa, wow.
Surprisingly, we get samples of shrimp that smells that bad and worse.
Really? You don't have to break one of those, though, to know it.
No, but those you don't have to break.
No, that's a tough job, but it's an important job and one that has to be done, right?
It's a job that has to be done. It's a job I don't like to do, but how can you if you smell that stink all day?
That's right. Somebody's got to smell those things. And, Albert, I thank you for being here. You're a nice gentleman, and I wish you well. And how many more years are you going to do this?
Well, I'm retired, but they rehired me for 1 year extension.
Don't let him get... Boy!
Pungent is the word.
No, that's not... That's not pungent.
That's bad.
You wouldn't have to be... I mean, the man's an expert. But, I mean, you could bring a gorilla in. And he would know that ain't a good fish. Does that set you free in the nostrils? You folks couldn't smell it out there, could you? You're very lucky.
Just as well.
All right, we'll be right back after this brief commercial break.
If you look like me, please share, like, and subscribe for future content.